Hey, buddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome to Nordhold. Nordhold is a roguelike tower defense game with meta progression and some interesting gameplay mechanics. Honestly, the way the game plays, it kind of reminds me of, I want to say, like, games you would have found, made in Flash. And I mean that as a compliment, not as a criticism, because it has that arcadey, one more run, I want to keep playing stuff. So we're going to play a normal game here. I'm going to talk you through things and kind of show you how the game works and what's going on here. So I've done a little bit of meta progression in the sense that I've played the game a little bit. I think I played it for like 4, maybe 5 hours before I made this video. I can check that real quick on Steam. Yeah, I played about 5 hours. So I've unlocked a few things. For example, this ability to choose a common relic at the start. So coin fall. Each of these is going to give me some sort of passive beneficial ability. So Fate's Eye will give me banner rerolls. We'll talk about banners and stuff later. This will give me extra life, meaning it's harder to kill me. This will give me extra elite enemies. I do like elite enemies, so maybe I'll grab the Blade of Self-Sacrifice. Elite enemies can drop chests. And banner choices are your sort of... like in a lot of these kind of roguelike games, like if you played Slay the Spire, this would be how you get your, these are like your card choices. Kind of, it's not exactly, it'll make sense once we get in here. You can re-roll this if you want, but I kind of like these options, right? Elite enemy plus a common banner for building our first tower. So we'll go ahead and get the game started. There's two major sections to the game. There's the economy here. This is Nordhold, which is like your homeland. And then there is the tower defense section, which is over here in the Fog of War, where you're going to look for the enemies. Deep, and like there's a lot of fog here, so I've only ever gotten to wave like 30, and I did die on wave 30, so hopefully we can beat that. But I really like the graphics of this game. I think it is just detailed enough to be worth zooming in, and then just simple enough to be very clear and not muddy when you're zoomed out. And I really appreciate that sort of that thin line that they've sort of danced along there. Now, Nordhold is Stunforge's, the developer of this game. It's their first game, at least that they have on Steam. I assume they must be experienced developers because, it's a pretty well competently put together game. It's going to set you back about $30. Sorry, 20 bucks, not 30. I misspoke there. 20 euro at least in Ireland. And I can't tell if it's in early access. I think it's in full release. It's got about 2,000 reviews, 88% positive. So very well received game. So definitely getting a recommendation from the wider community, it feels like. Now, let's kind of let's open up with our opening choice. Now, I really like these arrow towers. I've unlocked a decent number of towers, but I love these arrow towers because I like the way that they play. So sort of similar to Rogue Tower, you're going to have different height terrains. This has become a mechanic in tower defense games that I really like. I like this whole randomly generated terrain with different heights. If I put it here, it gets no range bonus. If I put it here, it gets half a range, then a full range, and then plus 1.5, and then plus 2. I'm going to put it here for the plus 2 range. And because I had that ability that gave me a banner when I placed my first tower, we're going to be able to choose an ability here. So for example, we could get the Timberwind mark, which will give us wood for every arrow tower that we have built, which I really like this one because it costs wood to build your arrow towers. And so therefore, every arrow tower gets you to build your next arrow tower faster. Sort of allows your arrow towers to be economic engines. Then you've got Rapid Archer, which gives the arrow tower a burst of 3 arrows, which each deals reduced damage. Fire rate is moderately decreased. What's really good about Rapid Archer is that it reduces the amount of overkill that you run into when you play. And then Bodkin Arrow just increases the fire rate. I do like Timberwind Mark. We're going to go ahead and take that. The plus 2 wood per tower is surprisingly useful. So we built a tower. And we've also got this sort of economic side of the game that we need to think about. So one of the early game strategies that I like to do is to go all in. Well, first, I like to hire myself a worker. Boosh. The next worker will be a little bit too expensive for me, so now I've got 4 workers. And then I like to put all my workers on wood. And then I like to get myself a trading post and get a trading ship, which is going to give me 7 gold per wave. So this is just going to passively get me a little bit of gold, not an extravagant amount, but a decent amount. Then I'm going to come back over to my lumberjack camp and I'm going to spend some wood to get oak out. Each worker right now produces 12 wood. If I upgrade this twice, that would be a 50% increase in the amount of wood we make. And then we can use this to build towers. We can also use this to get gold. Getting that passive gold income can allow us to upgrade towers. So yeah, there's like an economy side of the thing that has a whole like strategy that you're going to want to do. Like you can get the economy budget here, which makes all building upgrades cheaper. That could make this cheaper, saving you some resources. And then you've got a sort of translating this, you got to kind of balance like how much of my economic resources do I feed into improving my economy versus how much do I feed into improving my defense. So if I click on this arrow tower here, there's a lot going on, but it's actually rather simple. Basically, there's sort of a couple of main ways that you could interact with this part of the screen. I'm going to close the focus area for now. You can see the stats of the tower when it's first built, and then you can see the stats of the tower that it has been modified to. So you can see because I built this on a height 4 tile, it got +2 range, and because I took that perk over here with the 12% damage, it has 120 extra damage. Or sorry, it has 12 extra damage. I could spend gold to upgrade the tower. Every wave, this upgrade is going to get cheaper by 5 gold. So you can kind of imagine each tower is kind of producing 5 gold. I can tell the tower to automatically level this when the upgrade reaches 0. So if I click this, every time this reaches 0, it will automatically level. And I can also tell the game how much I would like to automatically spend in terms of gold. So if I set this to 5, whenever this number here reaches 5, the tower will spend 5 gold to level up, if I have it, of course. You can also create groups. So for example, I have this DPS group here. It's very simple. It goes damage, fire rate, damage, fire rate, damage, fire rate, damage, fire rate, blah, 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 blah. And the idea there is just to maximize the base DPS because a 20% increase to damage and fire rate is better than a 40% increase to just one of them. And so that's the idea. This sort of tower profile maximizes the DPS. So you can see like you fill this out, and when this number here reaches 0, the tower will take a damage level, and then this auto level thing will switch to the fire rate. So you can kind of think of this as your tower's build order. And the DPS one is what I consider, I think it's just a pretty good standard one. There's different things you can do, like if you care about accuracy and penetration and all this sort of stuff. We'll talk a little bit about those later. Yeah, this one, DPS here. Then we're going to go ahead and explore. This is how you send the wave at yourself. So when you explore, the enemies come. So let's tap the explore button, and here they come, right? We've explored a new piece of terrain. I'm going to build myself an extra tower. I forgot to talk about the priority focus, but we'll talk about that just now briefly. Basically, you can tell the tower what you want them to focus on. So you could say most health, least health, most block, least block, most armor, least armor, furthest along in the maze, furthest back in the maze, the closest enemy to the tower, the furthest enemy to the tower, the fastest enemy, the slowest enemy. You could focus on enemies who spawn minions, focus on, shooting around wildly. You can focus on shooting barrier carriers or groups of enemies, bosses, things that are immune to damage, group healing, health regeneration, enemies with bleed, enemies without bleed. You can tell the tower to focus on death. You can copy these settings and paste them. You can tell them to use all of them. For this tower, I just, most health and furthest along. That way, as enemies run past them, they get kind of softened up for the next tower in the line. So once a wave completes, you're going to get your income ticks over here. So you can see here, we got 90 wood, 64 of which came from the doodads. So I'm going to grab myself another trading ship so that we can get another 5 gold per wave. So bloop. There we go. Now we're up to 12 gold per wave. And we're going to spend a little bit of our early game trying to get our raw income up a little bit. So here we come. Enemies are coming. I'm going to build myself an arrow tower here because it's actually in a pretty decent position in terms of overwatch around this corner. So it has a really nice uptime. 3 arrow towers should be able to effectively get me through a lot of this early game. I can't quite afford the economy budget upgrade, but I will be going for that. We will explore once again, and then maybe I'll look to see if I can build a good arrow tower. I'll put another one right there. That's fine. 4 arrow towers should be able to do pretty good work. I like to lean on arrow towers. Oh yes, another Timberwind mark is really good. That's going to be another 12% damage, another 2 wood per tower. Barbed arrows is really strong, but Timberwind mark is really strong for the economy side of things because it also boosts your DPS. We're about to get an oracle choice. Now, what I would like to do is to get another trading ship. That's going to get us another 6 gold per wave. But before we click on that, I'm going to come up here and go for the economy budget to get another 15% discount on all upgrades. And so now this won't cost 90 wood, it'll cost 75. So boom. It's sort of like the opener that I like. I don't know if it's the best opener, but it's the opener that I like. That's all I really have to say about that. All right, let's explore. So you've got different kinds of enemies. You've got rogues, they're a little bit faster. You've got your bandits, they're a little bit slower. First 10 waves are pretty easy and straightforward. You're not going to be dealing with too much in the way of strong enemies. Most of your enemies are going to be one-shottable. This tower here, for example, is level upable. Okay, so we've got the Path of Rarity, better uncommon barriers. Oh, chests containing relics. So uncommon banners or relics? I like the idea of getting relics. I think that seems like a little bit more fun. I'm going to put this tower on DPS as well, just optimizing for both damage and fire rate to make sure that we're cleaning off people nice and quick. We have the resources to come up here. So if we go to statistics here, you can see we have 4 of this type of tower, 4 of this. So if we build one more, we will have 5, which is important for this versatility perk right here, which will give you 5 gold per wave for every unique type of tower that you have 5 of. That's really good. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up versatility and build myself another arrow tower right there. And then we'll explore. And so this arrow tower, now we're getting an extra 5 gold per wave, which isn't crazy powerful, but is really quite nice. Let's go ahead and put DPS on you and use this for all of them. Just make sure our arrow towers are focused on doing DPS. So Axle is quite good if you want to finish off the trading ship. 40% discount is huge. It'll also make your tower upgrades cheaper per level. Saves you a little bit of resources. Lucan is quite good. I don't know what the branch pathing stuff does. They've also got spells. Got Emmerich here, so he'll bring a extra banner. I do like the idea of the Shadow Rain. I kind of like the idea of taking Axle and then going for... You know, the tower ship cost is really good. The random banner and chest could be really good too here. You know what? I'm going to go for Emmerich here. He has Arcane Explosion, which stacks up spell damage. So let's grab Emmerich. So he brought a Lucky Shot banner, which basically gives us a 12% damage boost, as well as a 10% chance for the tower to have an additional shot. And if you have the Rapid Archer perk, it will actually fire a full 3-shot volley in addition to its normal 3-shot volley. So very cool. Let's grab the Lucky Shot. And then... I'm going to pick up food's a little bit harder to come by, so I'm going to grab some food. And actually, we should have enough food now to build a house and hire a worker. We could save a little bit of food by getting procreative power, which I think we will. That'll save us a small amount of food. We can get ourselves another trading ship for another 7 gold per wave. That's really starting to stack up in a big way. Just need one more upgrade there. I probably should have done the economy budget first. That would have saved us a little bit of wood. We might have been able to do it this round actually, but it's okay. I could sell my stone. I'll sell my stone for a little bit of gold. Can I level up something useful here? 12 gold. Not really just yet. Extra resources from chests isn't bad. I think that's worth it. All right, so we'll be able to add another tower. I have idle workers, right. Put them onto wood. We're all about that wood. Now, there's actually a really nice location here for a tower that focuses a little bit more on range. We've got an elite enemy coming. That's this blue guy. So I'm going to use my Arcane Explosion spell to soften him up and enemies around him. Because I want him to be getting hit on his own. Because he's going to drop a chest, because he's an elite, that we can scoop up sometimes banners, sometimes resources, sometimes relics. We can also speed things up a little bit. There we go. All right, nice. We get a banner. Oh man, another Timberwind mark. This does start to get worse the more of it you have. We could also improve our Lucky Shot if we wanted to, or start adding barbed arrows. I do love the Timberwind mark. Barbed arrow is really good once you have the triple shot thing. Timberwood mark is just so good early game. We can pick up, nice. If we pick up wood right now, we will be able to go over and finish off these trading ships. And now we're getting 35 gold per wave, just passively, which, you know, we're building a really strong passive economy. In addition, we'll be able to get endless woods here. But first I want to get Oak Crusher, because that's going to be another 33% boost in the output of my woodworkers. And then we can use this wood to build some of our other economic buildings. In particular, we would like to get the mill up, or even just build some more towers. I might even throw down another couple of towers here because we're getting into deeper waves. All right, let's explore. Now, we're not doing too well early into the waves, but we shouldn't be too bad at chopping them down. Let's drop a spell on some of these guys to do a little bit of damage. Perfect. So we could send some workers. We could send our workers away for 4 waves and get a legendary banner. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be greedy. I'm gonna be extremely greedy here. Don't do as I do, okay? Never take the legend. Every time I've taken the legendary banner, I've been killed by the first boss. But I'm gonna do the greedy thing this time. I want to give this tower lots of range, because it's in a position where it can make use of a lot of range. This one too, actually. All right, let's fire off another wave. And you can see this is like, as the enemies come, we shoot them, we soften them up, they get hit a lot, yada yada blah 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 blah. Drop a couple of these spells. Okay, a couple of enemies got through, that's a problem. Okay, we have 48 gold, 15% accuracy to ignore block chance. Next upgrade to barrier damage has 10x effect. Next trade immediately resets all buy prices to the current wave. I think I'm going to go for the 15% accuracy. That's pretty good. I'm going to grab myself another tower. Here's a good one. It's got good uptime. Kind of catches enemies as they come around this pathway. You here, I want to give you even more range because you got crazy rage potential due to your positioning. Spending gold on that. We're going to fire off another wave. I'm going to slow it down a little bit so I can get good spells. I double spelled the elite, and I'm hoping that that'll be good enough. Every time we used a spell, we get a little bit of bonus spell damage. Oh yeah, okay. I think some of these guys are going to get through. But we did kill the elite. We killed the majority of the enemies. We took a little bit of damage. Let's see, next 5 waves chance of encountering elites is 30% higher. Okay, I like getting lots of elites. Man, a rare Timberwind mark, let's take it. And I'm gonna take the stone here. I think it's about time that we got ourselves a couple of other types of tower. For example, a great location here for a volcano mortar tower. So we'll pop that right there. We've also got a potential arc tower location right here. It's got good uptime. Could also put it here if we wanted to double dip. The volcano mortar tower, it's what you would expect. It shoots a big ball that explodes in an AoE. Very much so what you would expect. Just going to put DPS on that as well. The arc tower is interesting because it ignores, I believe, block. Yeah, so I'm going to tell this to focus on enemies with the most block and then the highest health. And then I'm going to put it on DPS so that it does a lot of damage. Just want that DPS increase. That's really all I care about. Let's pop in over here. I'm going to go for more versatility to get our gold income up. What else can we use wood for? That's what I'm trying to think here. Can't sacrifice a worker. Endless woods would be good to get extra passive wood. Would let me get another tower in potentially. So we're going up against the boss wave. This is going to be a bit of a problem. I don't know if I'm going to beat this. Sometimes I don't beat it because I'm too greedy and I go for the legendary thing. What I will do is for sure try to target the boss when he has enemies nearby to soften up the wave and just get a little bit of damage on him. And we should see enemies slowly getting softened up as they go further and further. Now this boss, he's tanky, which is a bit of a problem for us, but we have taken him down to half health and he's only sort of entering our maze now. The mortar tower is targeting the largest groups of enemies, which is ideal. I think we're going to clear this wave. There's also an elite here, though. That's actually a bit of a problem. It's not going too badly. Perfect. So we just unlocked the guild hall. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. We can grab here. Opening blitz. The arc tower deals increased damage against enemies with more than 70% health. That's really awesome. Although we could get another Timberwind mark. I'm going to go for the legendary pick here. We got ourselves a overheating for every, so the volcano mortar tower will gain a stacking bonus for every enemy it kills. We can increase the fire rate for our bodkin towers. We could get extra jumps for our arc towers that has less of a bounce decrease. I think the amount of arrow towers we have, I'm going to go for that fire rate increase because that looks crazy. Let's see, doubles the chance of legendary banners. I don't know what fusions or uniques are, so I'm going to go for a legendary banner. Love it. So these are okay. Collect 3 banners from 2 towers to perform a fusion to gain a generalist banner, and then you've got unique banners. Okay, I don't really know how the banners work. I don't fully understand that part of the game, being real with you. I'm kind of curious about the guild hall. So how does this work? Okay, so basically this thing just creates gold slowly in the background and we can withdraw it whenever we want. I think I'm going to take emergency fund here so I can withdraw money during the market round. That cost me honor. Honor is your meta progression currency. Okay, what can I use gold on here? I'm going to grab versatility. That's going to buff our passive gold generation. I like going for passive economy because I find it to be incredibly flexible. Blast these guys with a couple spells just to soften them up. I may as well get the damage in, you know what I mean? Even if it's not a crazy amount, it is nice. And I have this guy who ignores block to focus on enemies with a lot of block. So that's going nicely for us. My arrow towers are pretty vulnerable to block. Sometimes you can see the shield pop up with enemies ignoring it. Okay, sick. So we got our legendary banner. Oh man, another 5 wood production per tower. Oh, we gotta take that. We have so many arrow towers that we're just shooting around the place. What do we want to use our wood on? We could get another couple of arrow towers. And remember, each arrow tower does technically produce 5 gold per round. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell my towers to automatically level up when they have 5 or less gold to spend. This tower right here, I'm going to give it a couple range levels just to give it good uptime because it's in a great position where it can benefit from that range. Here's a good spot for an arrow tower. Very nice. And then I think reducing the costs of wooden towers would be good. I could get so much more wood in here. Or do I want to try and get gold? I think it's time that we maybe looked into... We have a lot of passive wood generation, so I think I'm going to build the gold mine. And I'm going to put all my workers on gold production so that we can get our raw gold numbers up and then start leveling these towers a little bit faster. We're going to get a banner choice at this wave. Let's go ahead and send it off. We are going to have to start thinking about creating a kill zone for regenerating enemies. So that's something we need to consider. So let's kind of slow things down. I can click on one of these big guys. So this is an orc warrior. It's a little bit faster than a normal warrior, has a lot more HP, and a 20% chance to ignore an attack coming at it, which is very strong. Beautiful. Looks like we've cleaned them up. Not a problem. Oh my god, another Timberwind mark. It's got to be crazy for me to take that. And so I will. Boom. All right, a bunch of my towers just leveled up. In terms of wood, I'm going to grab the woodwork efficiency and the endless woods here just to get our passive wood income up. And then I'm going to come over here and upgrade the mine with vein tracing to get our gold per wave up. And then we'll start thinking about what we want to do next. I've got a hero level up coming soon. I could build myself another arrow tower, and that's the whole point of having a lot of wood, is to be able to build a lot of arrow towers. So I'll put an arrow tower right there, and then we'll explore the next wave. I do need to remember to spend my spell power because we get a lot of value the more times we shoot this over the course of the game. Like we've got I probably could have had a few more points of spell power. But yeah, the sheer number of arrow towers that I have just shooting out here is very, very powerful. Especially since some of these older towers are starting to fire really fast with a lot of damage. We're attritioning down the enemies very effectively through the maze. So we have a few choices that we can get. I like spell energy when you have the arcane explosion because it gives you +1 use of this. +1 jump on our arc towers is quite good. I'm going to go for the +1 spell energy. I'm going to level up the arcane explosion. I'm going to take arcane impact so that it does more base damage and still gains that +1 damage. And then I think I don't really love any of these, but I'm going to grab the arc tower damage buff. Okay, at each economy phase, the upgrade cost of random towers reduced by 5 gold. That's not terrible. This allows you to spend below your normal amount of gold. Transforms itself into a random legendary relic after 5 waves. Okay, we're going to grab that. And then I'm going to grab the cog because this will eventually, like after 6 waves, this will have paid for itself and will slowly pay for itself. It's basically like one of your towers will get a double level effectively. You're in a nice position. Maybe some range on you would have been good, but yeah, once regenerating enemies start coming, this strategy of focusing on the most health and the furthest along is going to start to be a problem because we're not going to be finishing anything. So we're going to start creating kill zones that are designed to focus fire on the weakest enemies until they die. Now, we just got a whole bunch more wood. Let's grab Source of Wealth 1 and 2. We can't quite afford 2, but that's fine. Remember, every arrow tower that we build provides us with both a passive amount of sort of quasi gold income, but also wood income, right? Because we got that Timberwind mark. It's 15 wood production per tower, so that they do pay for themselves very quickly. Oh my god, a 4-way splitter? I've never actually seen a 4-way splitter. That's crazy. Very legitimately insane. Trying to keep an eye out. Obviously, we've got these like big ogre-y dudes. It's the Orc General. He's a little bit slower, but he has block. He's still got these rogues running around. I think we'll more or less be fine. We definitely went for more of a deep, like a high damage chunking, but they are getting pretty far along in the maze, which is a problem. All right, so Path of Haste or the Path of Danger. Ooh, I love elite enemies. Let's go for that. I'm a big fan of fighting elites. I'm also so damn greedy that I'm tempted to go for another legendary banner. It's like every time I've done this, I've lost, but I got away with it just now. And, you know, once you get away with something once, you kind of start to feel untouchable. And that's actually a problem. I think they actually call that hubris. Let's grab ourselves a mill. And I want to grab the Wonder Seed to get the passive grain production so that we can start looking into hiring workers. And I'll probably go for Procreative Power to make it cheaper to hire workers. Gold Manager. The gold is starting to stack up, which is good. We definitely need to build our statue. We don't need to upgrade the lighthouse. We can't, well, we could in theory sacrifice a worker, but I don't want to. Do I want to unlock the Shadow Tower? I'm going to save up for the Frost Tower. Let's grab an arrow tower there, plus an arrow tower there. 2 extra towers. We'll explore. We'll drop a couple spells here on this corner. Just to generally get a bit of damage. It's not the most amount of damage, but it helps. Slowly chipping away at the bad guys. Some of them die and they create enemies when they die. The Matryoshka guys, that's what I like to call those. Okay, so Magma Field, Volcano Mortar causes burn on impact, ignites the field it hits, causing additional burn stacks per hex field crossed. We got the Chain Echo, extra jumps for the Arc Tower is pretty good. This will make my Arc Towers a lot better. I'm going to go for 1 reroll here. Ooh, Rapid Archer. Now could be the time to go for the Rapid Archer. I could also go for Better Lucky Shot, which will give me a 7% chance, 17% chance for an extra shot, and also a significant amount of extra damage. So I'm going to go for that. Oh, nice. Skyfall arrow. So every 15 seconds, our arrow towers are going to shoot a Skyfall. That's really awesome. Now, we have a decent chunk of gold, and I wanted to use that to get... Okay, no, I already have Wonder Seed, and then I wanted to get Procreative Power to make it cheaper to buy new people with food. I'm going to use my wood to keep building towers. Where do I want to create the kill zone? Maybe this little loop right here is good for the kill zone. So this tower here is going to target the lowest health enemy and focus them until death. And it's going to have the bleed stacker, which is just all fire rate, because all it needs to do is to try to kill one enemy as fast as possible. So we want to minimize overkill by just having it shoot a lot really quickly. Then we'll have another tower right here that does the exact same thing. This one's going to be a bleed stacker that focuses on the lowest health enemy. And this is basically like a mini kill zone, whereby the lowest health enemy will be focused until they die. Sort of thinking about how our enemies flow through our maze. You can also see that we actually have pretty good AoE now, thanks to the Skyfall arrows. If I slow down the game, you can occasionally see them triggering. It kind of looks like a rain of schmutz. Beautiful. So the kill zone is working pretty effectively. We got a chest here. I'm going to go for the food because we're trying to stack up workers right now. Let's hire a worker. In terms of the castle, I'm going to grab stave construction to make future buildings cheaper. Let's go for Scandinavian style, hire another worker. I've got 2 workers I can play around with. Let's go to the workshop. Right now we're paying 139 for arrow towers. If you build that workshop, it's going to be 123. This will allow us to reduce the cost of constructing towers, but also allow us to build more advanced towers, making towers more cheap. So we'll grab advanced towers. This will allow us to level these bad boys up. Higher level towers are more efficient, more betterer. I'm going to build myself another tower. I'll put him right here. And this is going to be another one of the bleed stackers, aka focus on the lowest health enemy and focus enemies until death. Let's fire off and explore. Oh, I have idle workers. Probably the best thing to produce is gold. Food would let us get new workers faster. Right, let's explore. I definitely need something that can deal with these big barriers that are kind of around enemies. That's going to be something we need to work on. But right now, because of the awesome power of our arrow towers, our build is just generally kind of well thought out, well put together, so we're getting a lot of DPS and a lot of kills. Okay. Now, let's get ourselves another worker. We'll put you into food. We'll build a house. I'm going to go for extra fertility on the food workers. I'm going to make towers cheaper to build, and I will build myself yet another arrow tower. This is going to be just a standard one. I'm going to park it somewhere, you know, with good range or whatever. Don't have the greatest locations, honestly. Here's a good one. Well, it's funky that these kind of reconnected back together in an odd way. So we do have a boss here, actually. Or else it's an elite. I can't tell. It's an orc general. He's got like a purple health bar. What's this? What are you? We've got the orc shaman. He's a teleporter. He's also got a barrier. You're a spawner. Okay, yeah, nothing too fancy from these guys just yet. So the kill zone is working pretty effectively. He dropped a chest. Very nice, very nice. So there's our legendary banner. Oh, a rupee ring. For each type of the listed debuff that the target already has, adding a new burn, bleed, or weakness increases its duration. So we want to do burn, bleed, and other stuff. Oh man, another bodkin arrow would go crazy right now. Dude. I mean, barbed arrows would be great, but 85% fire rate on the volcano tower is kind of hilarious. So the next 5 elite enemies drop 2 chests. Love it. Elite enemies are easier to kill. Towers deal extra damage, but they don't refund as much of their original cost. I don't really ever demolish towers, so this is strictly just a buff for me. I think I want to take all of these. Can I afford it? I might have to claim gold from my guild hall. Yeah, I think I have to claim gold. But that's fine. Now that I've claimed gold from my guild hall, I'm going to put a gold manager in there. So the base gold rate is higher, and it'll start with a little bit of extra stored gold. Oh no, I didn't mean to spend my honor. Whoops. I'm a dummy. All of our workers are back. We can start hiring out endless amounts of workers. Let's build the tavern for the productivity buffs. Swift service will get us a really big productivity buff. We're making 300 food per turn. We'll be able to hire so many workers. Let's get this chest here. I mean, let's grab that wood. Wood means more tower. Here's a plus 2.9 range location. This is a +1 range. Well, here's a plus a little bit more range. Just trying to get as many arrow towers softening up our enemies as possible. We have a nice big group here. We'll blast them. All right, lovely. Blasted our enemies. I'm probably going to start looking to going up to 10 gold auto level threshold with my towers soon. I do love going for mono tower builds. I mean, I do have an arc tower, but it's like not really part of my main strategy. I love the arrow tower as a mono tower strat. It's a lot of fun. The chance of encountering uncommon banners is higher. I'll take that one. Uncommon banners sounds good. A bunch of my towers are leveling. Brilliant. Right, so we have the money to hire some workers. Let's build another house, and we will get ourselves, hopefully, another couple of workers in the next round. We are in a boss wave. I'm not fussed. I'm not worried about this boss wave. Maybe I should be. Let's give this brand new tower a couple of bits of range so it can actually attack around this curve. We are... Yeah, I think where I go, I'm going to tell all of my towers to go to 10 gold, although I do need to remember to change these guys back to bleed stacking. I wish it was possible to create like different groups of towers and stuff like that. There's like a lot of things, and also it would be cool if like the towers visually changed based on the upgrades that they had. Like maybe a damage tower, maybe you just slightly scale up the size of the tower. A fire rate tower, maybe like it gets wider or taller. Range, maybe it gets taller. You know, I think there's certain things you could do to make these towers like visually distinct based on their upgrades, because right now when I zoom out, it kind of just blends in, and it's kind of hard to even really see where my towers are. You can kind of tell if you know for looking for the little red dots or whatever. But okay, we can do an all thing feast. I'm going to do an all thing feast. It costs 60. It gives you a 30% productivity boost, but it gets more expensive the more often you do it. So let's go. So Ironbane the Ruthless, he is this big bad boy right here. Can I click on you? Yeah, it looks like he's being healed by something. So I'm gonna drop a couple explosions. Yeah, it looks like there's like some sort of orc shamanistic healer dude in there who's saucing him up. He is already like significantly wrecked. Now these demonic, these demon boys, the gargoyles, they're a bit of a problem because they have armor. So we are going to need some towers that ignore armor. Lovely, there's the boss dead, and there's them dead. Alright. Oh, better guild hall, love it. That's going to help with the markets. And then we can get critical bond, which increases the crit chance of a tower, will also increase its crit damage. The range of the fire mortar gets bigger. Okay, I don't like either of these, but the crit chance increasing the crit damage of the arc tower is actually quite amazing. Basically, now it makes it so that increasing the crit chance of this tower is really worth it. So I'm going to activate the Zaps group, which, oh, this isn't how I remember it. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 crit chance upgrades, and then it should go damage, fire rate, damage, fire rate. Maybe I was playing around with a new build, but basically this optimizes for that perk, right? It gets you your maximum crit chance, and then starts just going for DPS. All right, let's open a chest here. Relics cost less at the market. Ooh, next lighthouse mission is free. Each boss kill will grant +1 banner reroll, even past ones. That's really quite good. We do have a market offer in not too many waves, so I think the barter bag is pretty good here. And then we can I'll take some war supplies. We probably want to do that. I'm going to grab myself a frost tower. So this is like the classic tower defense frost nova tower. So I want to put one, I think, right here to slow my enemies. We'll keep working on some of that stuff. All right, let's hire a worker and hire a worker. We need 160, so we'll just put a little bit on you. Maybe we should build a brewery as well. We should brew beer. That means every worker is going to need 5. Well, I guess I could sell a little bit of wood to make it cheaper. 20% cheaper, and then have even more benefit from the beer. This is going to give us 60. So at the cost of 4 wheat per worker per wave, we'll get a 60% boost to their productivity. I'm going to put my workers on, put 2 workers on wheat. We want to have a little bit. The rest on gold, because we need gold for both upgrades and towers. Let's see. I haven't quite chosen what I want for the frost tower. Maybe range is good. I'm just going to give it range. I'm going to tell it to level at 5. And I'll make another arrow tower right there. All right, let's explore. So these gargoyles, they take 15% damage reduction, so they're a bit problematic. I don't think they're too crazy just yet. Drop a couple explosions on the enemies, and then we'll speed things up. I do want to keep an eye out. So we've got an elite there. Oh, we've got someone. You've got armor and block, and you have health regen. So health regen is going to be something we need to think about in the long term. Like, how are we going to deal with enemies that regenerate health when we're aiming at whoever has the highest health in the area? Because basically what that means is we're extending his life artificially by not singling him out for being regenerating, so we need to come up with a solution for that. And probably some kind of long range tower will do that. Ooh, lightning surge. Rapid archer? I'll grab rapid archer. I think it's reasonable to do it now. I think we'll go for the legendary banner, as per usual, because I'm greedy. Let's open our chests. Let's grab some food and some stone. Okay, so you have a lot of gold to play with. I think it would be nice to make towers cheaper to build, and it would also be nice to make towers cheaper to upgrade. So that's going to help a lot. Then I want to hire my final workers. We have our 13. I'll put one worker into the stone. Well, I'll put you there. Yeah, we're going to need a number of these frost towers, I think. I just feel like range is good on frost towers. Maybe I'm crazy. Let's build a few of these lightning boys as well. We can also get an arrow tower right there. Boom, we got a bunch of arrow towers. We got a lightning tower. Ooh, you're even leveling up. Let me make sure that I apply this ability. Let's explore. I've got another elite. This is an earth golem. So I have my zapping towers focusing on low health enemies now. They ignore block. Ooh, I would like more spell energy. Ooh, extra height. More 4 height towers could be really good, actually. I do like spell energy. And then I want arcane impact to be stronger. I either want arcane influx or arcane resolution. I think I'll go for the stacking damage. All right, let's see what you can do. Let's grab the stone because we don't have any stone, and then let's grab the stone because we don't have any stone income. All right, perfect. We've got a market offer coming in, so we are going to want to have a bit of gold in the bank. Where do we want to go now? The Oracle. I will take a reroll. Oh, it's a repeatable. Tax burden will give us a little bit of passive gold from our workers. It's quite good. Let's build our statue, and I think we're going to designate the arrow tower as our blessed tower, so they're going to get 20% damage, and then we want to get gold when they kill stuff. Slowly building up our situation here. You call me the situation, I call you the ditchway. Perfect. A couple more arrow towers, another frost tower. Let's explore down here. There we go. What are you? The big boy. It's an earth golem. They come with a lot of armor. And some block. So we do need to start thinking about towers that ignore block and armor. Because they're getting pretty deep into our maze now, which is, less than ideal. Alright, what are you? Arc towers deal less damage, but they jump more. Elite enemies have more hit points. The next 4 elite enemy chests only contain banners. Ooh, extra health for the village. I'm going to take the health for the village, more health points, and then the jump. I'm going to make sure these guys focus on the dead. All right. Take a couple of you guys off gold because I do not have enough stone income. Plenty of wood income. So many potential shooters. We're going to get a banner choice and an oracle choice here. Let's keep exploring into the fog. Alright, what are you? You're a skeleton mage. You have block and armor and a barrier carrier. I think arc towers are going to be important for us going forward. We are chipping away at them, which is good. Oh. What are you, a skeleton mage? You got so much health. You're an elite. You're going to do so much damage to us. Didn't quite get him. 3 hit points he took. Didn't kill us, but he did 3 hit points of damage, which is fine. I'll go for uncommon banners. Volcanic eruption. We'll get fire rate. Crit chance of an arc tower increases relative to its crit chance. Ooh, frost towers can freeze. That's good. It's a low chance, but it is a chance. So the runestone tower ignores barrier. So I'm going to tell him to focus on barrier carriers, focus until death, and then focus on the lowest health enemies you have. Now the runestone attacks 6 times per second. I'm going to create a new group. I'm going to call this the Executioner, and this is for the rune tower. This is for towers that are focusing on low health enemies. So this tower fires so often that ignoring block isn't important, but penetration will actually be important. So I think at least 2 ranks of penetration plus, I mean, you could argue for 4 ranks of penetration to make sure that it can kill enemies really fast, that it can really ignore armor, and then it's a matter of like damage range, fire rate, damage range, fire rate, damage range, fire rate, just so we get that consistent DPS on a single target. So this is the, you know, I'm going to rename this to the Penetrator. No laughs in the comments, okay? That's what your mom calls me. I'm going to make this a 10 gold threshold. Maybe 15 gold threshold? So now this tower ignores armor, which is exactly what we wanted from it. And it will slowly get damage range and fire rate as it levels up. Okay, sick. I'm going to put one right there. Same idea. And we want you to focus until death, barrier carriers, and then lowest health enemies that are the furthest from the tower. We want you to, well, yeah. We want you to target enemies that are further back, but maybe targeting further back is more important than the least health. That way you get plenty of time to zap them as they walk around you. Because there is I think there's a buff you can get for this tower that it does more damage over time. Like if it's focusing on the same target. All right, give me another arrow tower. Yeah, basic. Building those arrow towers, call me basic? Absolutely. I'm an arrow boy. All right, let's do the All Thing Feast. And we continue to explore. Okay, Thunderclash the Relentless. That's this big boy here. No, that's a gargoyle. Thunderclash, what has he got? Regenerates 100 HP. Drop some explosions here. Big damage. Hoping for success. We got our elites coming through. They're making a lot of health. Skeleton Mage, come on now. You're not going to be the bane of me, are you? Well, I need Thunderclash to die for sure. This is where I kind of wish I had Bleed. Lack of Bleed's going to kill me here. No! The lack of Bleed! Come on! Maybe I should be working in more range into my arrow towers. Feck. Bruh. Unacceptable. Let's go for the lighthouse reward. Well, I think we did pretty okay there. I mean, we had a very good arrow tower run. Next run, I'm going to do a more diverse setup. We got 100 honor to unlock a perk. Twist of Fate, banner rerolls, extra stone to start with. All right, let's play again. And that's the great thing about Nordhold. It's very much so a game that you're like, ooh, yeah, I want to play again. Oh, I didn't think that would be immediately switching this. So now we can get a rare relic to start with. Elite enemy, productivity beer. Elite enemies have more health. Ooh, but only for 5 waves. That sucks. Extra farming for 5 waves. Then we've got each wave where tower has dealt 0 DPS. Oh. 25% penetration. I mean, that's just like a free level in penetration, you know? So that just seems like a free one. That's a freebie right there. Okay, so we go wood assignment, 2 levels of oak crusher. We buy ourselves the lighthouse. I just feel like this is the opener that I enjoy a lot. We'll get a trading ship. I'm going to get myself an arrow tower, but I'm going to modify this DPS group because maybe it should be like DPS. It should be like damage, range, and then like damp, range. You know? Or maybe, what if it was like damage, fire rate, range to increase its uptime, crit chance 10%. Should we take crit chance? I tell you what, let's simulate this tower's damage right now real quick. So I threw together a quick and dirty spreadsheet here, and I think I've roughly got it right. You take your damage times your fire rate. That's your base DPS, okay? And then you subtract the rate at which you critical hit to get your DPS, right? Then you take your damage times your fire rate times your crit damage multiplier times the number of times you crit, and then you add those two together and you get your overall DPS calculation, right? So if I use this correctly, it should be damage times fire rate, okay, times 1 minus this. This isn't a percentage yet, but I'll convert it to a percentage in a second. So that's wrong because this needs to be 5% rather than 500%. So we're roughly looking at 47.5 DPS from our non-critical hits. Then we got to add our critical hits in. I'm going to convert this to a percentage. So that's 180%, which is accurate to what's in the game, right? See here, 180 crit damage. And then we do basically the same calculation again, but this time with the crit damage factored in and the crit chance factored in, which gets us to about 52 DPS. So now what we can do is we can figure out how much the game actually improves each stat. So then we'll create an improvement axis. Okay, so this one is improved by 20. This one is improved by 0.1. This one's improved by 0.1. And this one's improved by 0.4. Those numbers will make sense in a moment once I convert them to percentages and stuff. And so now we basically clone this down, but we take all the base stats down too. That will make sense in a moment. So this should be 240%. This should be 0.6. This should be 15%, 5. It's kind of a manual way to calculate this. There is probably, like, if I was better at Excel, we could probably do this faster and more automated. You should be a percentage because you're giving the wrong number right now. And so we can see in terms of the DPS improvement of our, let me add some formatting just to make this a little bit easier to see. If we were to take damage or fire rate, the DPS increase would be the highest but equal. And then what we could do is we could take these numbers and we can do it again. I'm going to do it parametrically. And in this way, we can actually start to optimize how we develop our towers. And I could create a script that automatically detects which one of these DPS categories is most improved. But we can actually like calculate how to optimally upgrade our tower to get the most DPS out of it. So if we look here, we could see upgrading damage or fire rate again, these two, is better than upgrading the other two, but it looks like upgrading fire rate would get us slightly more DPS. So let's take that same number again, all right, and we copy and paste down, right? Now we're on level 3. This becomes 0.6. You need to key off this plus 0. Point. My point key is a little wonky. And now we can see, again, it becomes damage or fire rate, gives us the most DPS. So early crit damage really isn't good for the damage for a tower. That's what we're learning here, right? And we could just iterate upon this. There's probably a way to develop this using formulas and automatic detection and stuff like that, but I'm just going to do it manually real quick so that I can show you like the theory behind why I go for DPS and fire rate when I'm trying to optimize, or why I go for damage and fire rate when I'm trying to optimize a tower's damage per second. So here they're equivalent. We'll just go for damage first, and now fire rate reigns again. We copy paste. We pump it in 0.7, and you can kind of start to see, like in the beginning, there was a pretty big difference here between these from a percentage point of view. Oh my God, what is going on? Stop tables. No. But then you can kind of start to see that the gap kind of appears to be closing. So let's iterate another couple of times, and we can kind of tell when it becomes somewhat optimal to add crit. So again, these were equivalent, so I'm just going to add 20 damage, and then we'll go for the fire rate again, damage. And then the game wants us to do fire rate again. And we can even do forks if we want to try to see, if we want to try to compare two upgrades, right? Let's say, okay, what if we took that 15% crit chance here, right? Well, versus what if we took the just more damage? It's like, oh, that's not very good. Let's just take that damage then. And you can kind of see, without an incentive, increasing our critical chance doesn't really matter on the arrow tower. Without like an outside force telling us that it's better, we don't really ever end up in a position where it makes the most sense to upgrade anything other than our damage and our fire rate. Now, certain towers might have abilities like, it's getting really close for crit chance, right? It's getting really, really close to being worth it. There is a point, I mean, how many levels are we here? Where this is level 0, 1, 2, or I guess level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're 12 levels in a game where towers only have 20 levels, right? So now we're starting to think, okay, maybe now, but we're still better off investing in damage or attack speed. It's getting really close. It's getting really close to being worth it to invest into crit. But now we're like 13 levels in. This is level 14. Let's get another point of damage. Still, now crit chance is equal to increasing damage again. Okay, so here we go. This is level like 15 or so. Now crit chance is of equal value to fire rate and damage, right? So if we're thinking about that, it becomes worth it to put a crit chance point here, right? If we're thinking about how do we optimize the DPS of this tower, like just pure total DPS, it would be something like this. Bam. And then let's just, for the sake of it, let's do another couple of iterations. We will do another damage. So now fire rate and crit chance are equal. So we'll do another fire rate increase, 1.4. And now crit chance becomes worth it, okay? This is like upgrade 17, where it actually becomes cost effective to do that. But crit damage still isn't cost effective. These three are just now equal in terms of upgrading your raw DPS. So I hope that kind of justifies like how and why I do things. This is just like an intuitive understanding I have of maths from playing so many of this kind of game where you have to do these kind of calculations of, you know, dependent variables. However, there is a kind of another consideration that we need to think about, right? And that's what it's a concept called uptime. Now, uptime is kind of hard to conceptualize, and uptime can swing a lot based on the design of your maze. So for example, a tower that is in between two parallel paths that are going opposite directions is going to have theoretically double uptime because enemies spend twice as long walking through it. But roughly speaking, you can imagine uptime as the how long a tower is shooting at an enemy when it walks into its path, right? That's the starting calculation of uptime. So if a tower covers 8 tiles, that's 8 tiles of uptime, right? And that uptime is going to differ based on the speed of an enemy, right? If an enemy walks 1 tile per second, that's 8 uptime. But if an enemy walks 2 tiles per second, that's only 4 uptime. If an enemy walks half a tile per second, now you're getting 16 uptime. Range starts to become actually really valuable. And then you've also got to consider uptime as a percentage of the map that you're covering, and not just like the total number of tiles near you that you're covering. So you might have like 8 uptime, but the map is 40 tiles. So that's about 20% uptime, you know, like, and this is kind of like, it's not really a mathsy thing, just to be clear. It's more of a mental thing. And then you also have to consider that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Range, flat increases to range are like adding inches to your pizza. And I know some of you guys were expecting that sentence to end differently, okay? You need Jesus. Like adding inches to a pizza, okay? If you add 1 inch to a pizza, right? If you have a 10-inch pizza and you add 1 inch to it, that's not a 10% increase, okay? Because it's a circle. It's like the formula for a circle is pi times the radius. Oh my God, where's my squared symbol? Where's my up arrow? I was going to say pi r squared, or radius times radius. Let's just call it radius. Pi times radius. So let's take a radius of 10 and a radius of 11, okay? So we're just going to say pi is 3.14. We're going to do approximate calculations here. That's pi. That means we need radius times radius times radius. So if we plug these numbers in, so going from a 10-inch pizza, which gives you 314 pizza units of pizza, right? That's the area of the pizza. And adding 1 inch to your pizza, that gets you like 379 pizza. That's like 380 pizza. That's like a 21% increase in the amount of pizza you have, right? And like, if we do 12, shut up, Creative Cloud. Nobody actually wanted you. You were forced upon us. Fucking Adobe. Now, we're still getting like a big increase of pizza. It's relatively speaking, it's a smaller increase, but it's still a lot of pizza. Like the total, but the really important thing here isn't the relative amount. It's the total amount of pizza we get actually goes up every time we add an inch to our pizza. So actually, in terms of getting pizza, or in this case, range, upgrading range allows us to cover every upgrade of range covers more of the map, not as a percentage, but as a total quantity. So range is one of those things that scales positively with itself. That's something that I want you, and that kind of has to consider into, okay, like let's say you do 1 bajillion DPS, but the enemies have 2 bajillion health and you can only attack for 1 second. Well, if you could half your damage and quadruple your uptime, well, that seems pretty worth it. All that is to say is that we have to figure out what the vibe is for how many range upgrades we should put into this DPS calculator. And then we also need to figure out how much penetration do we need. I do feel like at least 1 point of each of these is kind of worth it, because there's a curve whereby like upgrading damage will give us a 20% damage boost. It's actually really early because the first damage upgrade gives us a 20% damage upgrade. The first fire rate upgrade will give us about 20% DPS, and that'll combine to about a 1.5-ish DPS increase. But then if an enemy has like 50% armor, we're only getting half of that. But if we could take a chunk of that armor away, now we're getting more of our total overall DPS. So sort of in the same way that crit chance scales with the more damage and fire rate you have, accuracy and penetration, and to an extent barrier damage, and all these sort of subsidiary stats, they scale better the more damage and fire rate you have. And then they all scale better with each other. And that is to say, it's a long way to explain my rationale behind what I'm going to do here, is that I'm going to play it a lot by vibes. So I think a damage, a fire rate, and then a range, a damage, a fire rate, and then an accuracy, a damage, a fire rate, and then a penetration, and then a damage, a fire rate, range, damage, fire rate, range, damage, fire rate, damage, fire rate. Is that enough range? I don't know if it is. But this gets us like, the tower gets a little bit of damage, a little bit of range. No, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to push all the way to level 11. Then I'll get accuracy, penetration. Because this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this should basically 4x the base damage of the tower, because the damage will be doubled and the fire rate will be doubled. 2 times 2 is 4. And then I'm going to get rid of the penalty to block and penetration. And then I'm going to get myself a doubling of the range. So the tower has double the uptime. And then I'll finish it off with a crit chance and crit damage just for fun. And I don't think this is like the mathematically optimal way to do things, but this is the vibe that feels right to me. Perhaps range is better early. Yet maybe I do want to sprinkle in range. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think this is what I will do. I'm going to skip crit chance and crit damage because it takes a very long time for this to ever be worth it. And instead what we're going to do is we're going to go damage range, fire rate, damage range, fire rate, damage range, fire rate in this order, sort of descending. And we're going to do that 5 times. So this will double the damage, double the fire rate, and double the uptime, which should be an octupling of the tower. And then we're going to halve the effectiveness of block and penetration on us. That's it. That's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. Figured out what I'm going to do. I'm happy with that. So that's going to be our DPS build. That is to say, whoops. Spent a lot of time before we actually played. That was 30 minutes of just talking numbers. Never accuse me of not being a guy who likes video game numbers. I could buy some wood here. If I paid 6 gold to get wood, I would get +5 wood right now. Or I could do the economic budget and save money later. I think that's what we'll do. I'm going to put another tower right there. Also on the DPS, and we'll send the next wave. Oh, I have idle workers. Whoops, more wood. I do like to go heavy onto the archery towers early into the game. I just think they're neat. Getting them up early means you start getting those returns on them real early. All right, how much for this next trading ship? Can I get a resourceful? Can potentially next turn. We got a banner choice coming up. So this is going to cost me 45. I'm gonna wait until I can get a versatility click. What if I sold wheat to get this next turn and then built a tower? Okay, that's what we'll do. So basically, I sold a piece of wheat so that next turn we'll have enough money to get economy budget 2, which will get us another 15% discount, which will save us some of the wood on trading ships. And right now I'm going to build myself a tower right there. Okay, so I do think that the barbed arrows are actually really good because you do 1 damage per second per stack. So this is a 3 DPS per second for 5 seconds. So this is effectively 15 damage on the tower plus a 2% slow, which effectively increases the length of my maze, right? If I have 100 tiles and enemies walk 2% slower, I have 102 tiles. It's slightly more than that because it's a negative multiplier, but you know, roughly mathsing, that's about right. As the number gets bigger, as you get to like 10% slow, it's more like having 11% more tiles because you multiply the number of tiles. You multiply the enemy speed by 0.9, which gets their tiles. It's basically, look, this makes my maze more efficient. Okay, bleeding tower, it's good. All right, so now we can afford to get the economy budget. Boom, it's a 15% discount. We're going to get ourselves another trading ship. Boom, another 5 gold per turn. We will get ourselves more towers because, again, I really want those early towers because I feel like the more towers I have early, the gold from the towers just existing really adds to your economy. So like building towers actually improves your economy. And plus, if I can get the thing that gives me... Ooh, what's this? Next 5 tower... cost reduction to tower upgrades per wave is no longer applied. Ooh, I don't like that. Next 5 waves, the honor gained is doubled, but no any elites will appear. I'll take the double honor, that's fine. I want my towers to passively upgrade. It's part of my strategy, so it would be bad if I wasn't getting that. All right, let's explore again. Beautiful, enemies are getting chipped away. Excellent. So Milo will bring 10 wood and make buildings cheaper to upgrade. He also has Fireball and Arcane Explosion. I do like the Arcane Explosion spell. Lightning Strike is great for killing a single enemy. Devastation is great for just chewing away the number of enemies. Getting a common banner and elite enemy chance. I do like that Ivan. I'm going to take Ivan. He also brought a banner, and he brought the good banner. So that's going to be +2 wood per wood tower that we have. Let's use our current existing wood to get trading ships. We can't afford... We could get versatility, which would give us +5 gold per turn, but I think I want to get the economy budget up first to make upgrades cheaper. It's kind of like the vibe that I like. We'll explore now. Enemies are going to be entering into the gauntlet of my arrow tower maze. Hopefully we have enough arrow towers to thin the herd. Looks like we did. So arrows can fire 2 shots, or we could get Rapid Archer or more Timberwood Mark. I think now that we have the bleed, getting the Rapid Archer is really good. It is going to lower... I think it changes some of the DPS calculations because now we're thinking about bleed, but I think it's fine to do this. I can afford trading ships, but I can also afford the economy budget, which means that the trading ships is even cheaper. Now gold can start going towards versatility, getting me more passive gold per turn. All right, let's fire off a wave. We'll definitely need more arrow towers soon. We took a little bit of damage that I didn't want to take. I'm not going to go for the legendary banner this time. I'm just going to go for the common banner because enemies are getting a little bit further than I would like. Now, using gold, let's go for Endless Woods. 20 wood per turn passive. And do we have a nice... Yes, we do. We have a nice location for you. I'm going to put you on DPS as well. So you'll follow the same, increasing your range, your damage, all this stuff. I will unlock the Shadow Tower. It costs stone and gold. I'll put you right there. So what do? Fires 3 homing shot bursts to inflict weakness, increasing the damage they take for 5 seconds. So it's a 10% DPS increase. Why don't you go for the DPS as well? So nice. You ignore armor. That's actually really useful. Love it. So now we got AoE softening up our enemies, firing on the big clusters. We've got a Shadow Tower softening up the bad guys. Let's see here. The Pact of Prosperity. We get 6 gold. Ooh. Stacks 6 gold production at the start of each economy phase until you spend gold. Upgrade to barrier damage has 10x effect. Each boss gives a banner reroll. I kind of like the Pact of Prosperity because it just means when I don't spend gold, I'll get more gold, which has a nice vibe to it. Oh, here's a +4. I'll take that. All right, let's explore. I hope that this works out. But yeah, the nice thing is the arrow towers are now doing bleed, which is both slow and damage over time. I'm going to drop a slow right there, and then another slow right there. Good, 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 good. The nice thing about the rapid fire perk is that it applies more bleed, and also you're less likely to overkill. Alright, we got a common banner, so we can go for darkness. Chance to inflict the victim trait on the enemy with the most HP, causing them to take an additional 10% chance. Okay, we don't care about that, but the volcanic erupting, I don't know what focus priority is circling. There would be no branches. Sure, let's go for no branching. The Path of Unity. I do love the Timberwind mark. This is a significant increase in the DPS of my towers. This is a significant increase in my economy. I think doubling my economy from towers is a little bit better right now. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'll take that tower right there. We are going up against a boss. We do need to be mindful of that. And next wave, we're going to get trading ships. And next wave, I'll go for versatility level 3. That'll get our passive income up quite a bit. Let's explore it. Oh, Grimlock the Bandit King doing his thing. He should get a lot of bleed stacked up on him. I'm gonna drop a slow on him, like right here. A, to hit a bunch of enemies and soften them up, but also just to make him take longer through the maze. And I'm gonna drop another one on him when there's a bunch of enemies near him right there. So now he's taking bleed damage and being slightly slower. Whether or not we survive, I mean, it's kind of in the hands of the game. Like, does it let me? Does it not? I don't know. Oh, looks like it could be close. Oh, very nice. Very nice. All right, we got a chest here. Grants the choice of a legendary banner. Ooh, 5% worker productivity per hired worker. That is a crazy good stacking. That's a lot of productivity. So we got to choose a legendary banner. Transfer excess damage from the projectiles and increase the crit damage. Ooh. I'm going to go for the wide blast of the volcano mortar. Let's level up our trading ships. Then we're going to grab versatility level 2, or level 3 rather. We'll use our gold to get more wood from our woodworkers. Good, 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 good. And we'll fire off the next wave. I'll even drop a slow. Well, hopefully these will not be too hard for us to deal with. Uh-oh. Okay, a lot of guys got through there, which is a little bit of a problem. We didn't quite get the kill. Put down another wood tower. Let's grab endless woods. I also want woodwork efficiency. Let's go to the next wave. Make sure to slow them as they run through here. Hoping these guys don't get through. Okay. Whoops. All right, we got the Druid House. Let's do another one. Let's do another run. Gaining 2 gold whenever you cast a spell is pretty good. Ooh, I do like the getting 3 gold whenever you build a tower. I mean, a bunch of early wheat would allow us to expand our workforce really quickly. That's a huge buff. Plus Torch of Fortune, like Torch of Fortune with the 15% worker chance to produce an extra 4 resources on top of 120 wheat right away. That to me screams like early eco, because we're going to immediately be able to hire a worker, build a house, hire a worker. If we had done procreative power, which we can still do, we can even go, like, we just doubled our worker amount on turn 1. And as long as we channel that into a lot of towers, we're going to be fine. All right, let's get, oops, didn't mean to build you there. That's okay. Get a bunch of towers, focus you on DPS, apply to everything. Beautiful. Now, I love passive productivity. Can I buy a stack of wood? Perfect, we got it. Let's also get economy budget, and can I afford to up my workers? I can, excellent. 72 wood, we're looking really good. We'll get our first banner now in a moment. I'll add a wood tower right there, and then what can we afford? Nothing, nada, zip, zilch. Now, the extra health does make things a little chunkier. Oh, and Timberwood Mark. But the Lucky Shot, this is super good. This is so much eco early. That's the thing. It's so much eco. It's hard. It's hard to not take it. I want more productivity out my workers, so I'm going to go for Oak Crusher here. I think getting more towers early for me, rather than focusing on developing my trading ship economy, is slightly more important because my enemies are going to have extra health for the first 10 waves. So I need to be getting them down ASAP. So this is branching. You know what? Path of Haste. Let's go. Workers work better. It's a height 4 tile. Let's hit the next wave up. They're effectively getting chipped down. Oh, one got through. Ouch. Let's see. He'll bring 100 wood. He'll bring 40 gold to make trading ships cheaper. Better elite enemies. I do like the common banner as well. Another Timberwind Mark, that's doubling the passive eco we get from that. Trading ship, I think we want to make things cheaper using the economy budget. That's a 15% discount. Then we can get the trading ship for even less. And then in 2 rounds, we'll be able to get the trading ship up again. Get another one of these. These are set to DPS. Keep exploring. Very nice. Chipping away at them. I'm gonna go for the rapid archer. This will be 120% minus 15%, so it's about even damage. Although wood production, we don't have bleed yet, so rapid archer loses value. Although the overkill is nice. The lack of overkill is really nice. Timberwind Marcus is so good for getting more and more arrow towers, and like the more arrow, each arrow tower I place generates 5 gold effectively per turn, which is super good. All right, let's keep exploring. This round, we're going to be able to upgrade our boats. Or we're going to be able to upgrade our economy costs and our boats again. Don't let them through. Don't you dare. Beautiful. I'm going to go for the legendary banner. I'm feeling greedy. Let's go for the economy budget plus 2 levels of trading ships. Nailed it. Now, it would be good to transition into a different type of economy, but I do need a little bit more wood. So we'll stay on that for now. Let's get a melty tower plus one of those. All right, we took a little bit of damage, but we are, remember, enemies do have 30% more health, so not too bad. When you not use energy in a wave, you have +1 energy in the next wave. Ooh, doubles the chance of legendary banners. Next Terry build starts with 100% damage. That's pretty good. None of these are really super exciting to me. I'd rather just have my gold to use on other things. Let's open this chest. Give me the stone. I need more of these AoE towers. Versatility is great because it's that passive gold productivity. I also want to put my worker into the gold mine now, so I can start to get returns on that. Fire off the next wave. Yeah, the AoE towers do help a lot. We'll do some shadow rain. There we go, looking okay. Looking very nice. Enemies don't seem to be getting through the maze, which is good. Got a big DPS chunk at the end. Honor is doubled, but no elites. You know what? Path of Simplicity. Let's do it. I'll go for the Rapid Archer because I'm leaning so heavily into Archer stuff right now. Now, what could I use my wood for? I could build the workshop and then go for advanced towers. This might level up a few of my towers, and it did. So the Arc Tower, ignoring block, is really good. I'll go for damage right now, and then we'll come back and look at that. I want... Yeah, I think I'm happy, actually. Give you range, and I'll give you DPS. A little bit more. All right, let's explore. Did a couple of shadow waves. Okay, hoping we can get through this. The Bandit King is going down. Not as fast as I would like, but he's going down. He's coming through the big DPS zone here now in a moment. Oh, come on. No! He just barely got us. Unacceptable. Play again. Upgrade to a rare. Oh man, look at that. Elites? We gotta take the elites. I'm so greedy. I'm not good enough at the game to be this greedy, but I'm so greedy. Oh, another 10% elite enemy chance? Let's go. Alright, so I'm a classic opener. Hire a worker. All in wood. Build a trading post. I meant to get the economy budget. Let's go for the arrow tower. I'm going to put a frost tower right there as well. We're going to design a new group for frost towers. So what we really care about the frost tower is the slowdown rather than anything else. So the thing that we care about is its range and its fire rate. Don't care about its actual DPS. We care about how much of the map it covers and how often it fires. So to that end, if we're going to give it a group, I'm just going to call this Frosty, and it's just literally going to be range, fire rate, range, fire rate, range, fire rate, alternating. Because I think swapping between them is slightly more efficient than just getting one. Let's explore. I could, in theory, get the early statue. Let's go for Oak Crusher level 1. That will get us extra wood from our woodworkers. We'll explore again. Do we have a good... I guess we've got an okay wood and frost tower location. Speed things up a little. Could get trading ships. We won't get the economy budget for another turn. Do we want to save wood? I mean, it could be good. Getting the guild hall really early could also be quite strong. I mean, this will be 15% cheaper next wave, which saves me 15% of the cost at the cost of 6. I think it may be worth it to wait a wave to upgrade this. So let's see here. Frost towers exchange. They're slow for increased damage. Definitely don't want that. We can go for 16% damage at a 13% to fire twice. That actually really helps it scale DPS, especially with attack speed. So I'm going to go for Lucky Shot here because it's a DPS increase. With this tower, I'm going to go for the DPS build. Did you say 4? All right, let's grab economy budget. It's going to make all future economic decisions we make way more effective. We'll grab trading ships. We'll grab ourselves a 4 height arrow. I'm going to unlock the Raven Tower, and we'll keep exploring. Spell damage is increased. Chests. Ooh, okay. More relics from chests. That's nice. You leveled up. Let's apply DPS to you. And can't afford that just yet. Can we... Yes, we can get more from Oak Crusher. Let's explore again, hoping to kind of grit my teeth and get through these next couple of waves without spending resources on more towers. Okay, I do like Nordhold. He comes with Ice Strike and Shadow Rain, but especially making tower upgrades cheaper in terms of gold per level, that can save you that can get your towers to upgrade actually quite a bit faster. Tavish would bring Arcane Strike, and I do like Arcane Strike because of its stacking spell damage and also a chest. He would also make elite enemies. On the other hand, Jorah would get me that trading ship cost and the 100 wood. I think all three of these are really damn good choices. And I think I'm going to go for Jorah because he kickstarts the build that I'm going for in particular. It kind of leans into it. So now this is going to cost me 70 wood. We got it maxed out. We're already econed. We do need 2 more arrow towers to really lean into that. I think we'll go for Oak Crusher because that's worth 20 wood per wave. I think it's time for us to go for versatility. We need more gold. And that means we need to place 2 more arrow towers. Let's see if we can find... Yeah, there's a couple of nice spots right there. Got a lot of arrow towers over here. Enemies should be wary. A couple of frost towers to support. I wouldn't mind a few more frost towers. That'll take some time to get those built up. Okay, Lucky Shot. Oh, that's a legendary Lucky Shot. That's crazy. That's like 42% damage and a 10% extra chance to Lucky Shot. That's so much. Then again, Cold Snap is super good. Extra effect and duration. Both of these are awesome, but I am going to take the Lucky Shot because I'm leaning so heavily into arrow towers again. We have the 6 arrow towers, or the 5 rather, that will allow us to max out the benefit from versatility. We're going to get 20 gold passive from having 5 of those towers. Now we want to start thinking about, we want to get 5 frost towers up. So we're going to grab ourselves a quarry and assign all the workers to the quarry to try and get that up. We'll go for granite grip, all that stuff. We also want to build a workshop if we can. We don't have any passive wood income yet. Okay, once I have endless woods, at least level 1, then I will switch over to stone. All right, let's explore. We're on mission 7 or level 7. Nice, we're thinning the herd of enemies. There is an elite coming. It'll be a little bit of a problem. Old raider. Let's send 2 workers for 3 raves for a rare banner. We'll grab you. All towers deal 25% damage in boss waves. That's really damn good. Extra gold from this is like pretty terrible, but 25% damage in boss waves helps a lot. Actually, maybe it's better if we just go rock steady. Maybe going for rock steady, getting that 20 stone per wave passively. Could build some lightning towers. They do have good range. Couple of mortar towers as well. I don't necessarily want to build arrow towers. I kind of want stone. So let's go for the granite grip. I think I need stone more than I need wood right now. Give me the endless woods. I'll grab the farm too, because we want Wonder Seed, and I'll grab the mine as well. We want to get those, we want to use our gold to get that passive resource generation going. That doesn't require any workers. Let's do our Q ability, which is just kill random enemies. Just makes the wave easier. Ever so slightly. Very nice. The elite is getting shredded. Armor penetration is really useful. 5% damage. Increases the damage of the tower with the most DPS by 100% instead. This is a protective blast. I'm going to go for the armor penetration. That's a scaling benefit, potentially has long-term consequences. I really need stone right now so that I can get more of these towers. So I'm going to grab Wonder Seed for passive farming. I'll grab this +4 meteor. Here's another +4 meteor. I'm not going to build a shadow tower. So I've got 3 of these meteor towers that want to be on DPS. And they just focus on doing big group damage, really. Go to the next wave. So these guys will hopefully thin out the wave of weak enemies, softening them up for when the arrow towers come. When the arrow towers come online. And it means we also have a couple more volcano mortars to activate the versatility benefit from the castle. 20 gold for every 5 towers we have. That's something that I quite like. I like leaning into that. Just getting a really strong economy through building a lot of stuff. Let's go for the Path of Relics. I don't want to split up my path. Rapid Archer. Ooh. Cold Snap. Both of these are really, really good. Range is This is kind of an uptime trade. You get more uptime, but it doesn't fire as often. I do like the idea of the cold snap, but I'm going to go for rapid archer because that's actually like my main DPS tower. So that will hopefully make it an even better DPS tower. Let's get the source of wealth here. Let's get vein tracing. Level 3, so our workers are churning out resources. I'm going to build the tavern for a little bit of a boost as well. We'll assign the workers to gold. Right now I need lots of gold to build up my economy. This is a boss wave, so it would be nice to get another mortar tower. And I'm going to kill 8 random enemies using my abilities. And I'm really hopeful that this works out. So the boss won't take too much damage in the early phase of this wave. But many of the enemies have been thinned out by these mortar towers, which is really good. And there's a really nice kill zone up here of towers that do a lot of damage. Beautiful. So we get a rare banner. Cold Snap or Overheating. I think Cold Snap is great here. So we'll take that. You leveled up. I do need to design a ability for you because you don't need accuracy. Let's just give you the Zaps. The Zaps isn't good. Zaps should look more like this, where it's like a descending damage, fire rate, crit chance. And then probably a range in between each one of these, like just to add a little bit of extra range to it so its uptime's a little better. That looks a little bit more happy with me. Okay, let's see. Opening Blitz. Arc Tower deals more damage the higher an enemy has. Chain crits. Enemies within the radius of Frost Tower takes increasing damage per second. So 10 damage per second, and it increases by 10 per second. Well, now this makes range way more important for the Frost Tower than fire rate. Although fire rate still does actually remain good, because it means it's going to fire more often, making enemies take longer to get through. I actually still think fire rate's pretty good here, but only in the really long term. The next 5 elite enemies drop 2 chests. Hell yeah, I'll take that. So we have a decent chunk of gold. Let's get passive wood generation. Let's keep stacking up gold. I'm going to go for passive. Where's passive gold, Jen? There it is. That's all we can afford right now. I could get another lightning tower, and I will. Right there. That feels good. Now let's explore. Alright, I'm going to fire off my random kill spells. It's just good to thin the wave. That's what I like it for. And now this DPS zone. We definitely want a lot more frost towers, but they are they scale up in expense a lot. But I'm probably going to lean heavily into frost towers as we continue here. I would like another mortar. Ooh. Honestly, the food would be really useful right now. Gain 3 gold whenever you build a tower. Oh, that's nice. Every time you leave the market, you receive... Ooh. That's quite good. I'm going to go for the 3 gold. It just adds a bit of passive economy to my build. I want a little bit more stone. So I'll grab that. I want a little bit more food. I'm going to build a house and then hire a worker and then make it cheaper to hire workers to get a second one. Would have been slightly efficient to do that in a slightly different order, but 2 extra workers will allow me to start getting more stone. Although it might be better for me to focus on gold for now and then switch to stone once we buy the stone upgrade. So I think that's what we'll do. But yeah, let's go to the next wave. I'll just kill some random enemies at the start of the wave, because I think that's just a perfectly reasonable choice. I like to see my enemies getting thinned out before they walk through the death valley that is my stuff here. I definitely want some more frost towers. I think 1 enemy got through here. Arc towers have a chance to cause a max health focusing lightning strike. Each arc... Oh, that is a legendary. What if I re-rolled? Critical bond. There we go. Crit chance increases the crit damage. That makes that way stronger. Okay. We definitely want to build a workshop. Alright, so I want granite grip, elevated masonry. That will make it so that I can afford another volcano mortar. I will put it there. Now, I want my people working on what? If I went all in on stone, we could get a bunch of frost towers, which would be pretty damn cool. Definitely want to upgrade this to get more yield from my workers. I also want to start thinking about, do I want to start pumping gold into my frost towers, especially like 10 gold to get them a little bit better, a little bit faster. I think that's actually worth it. I need to build a lot more towers. And in order to do that, I need to build a workshop to make towers cheaper and the woodwork efficiency to make towers cheaper. So let's get Oak Crusher. Put everyone on wood again. And we'll start scrambling for better towers. I'm going to save the kill 4 random enemies for later in the wave, because maybe the thought is that it'll kill an enemy that's more likely to get through. That's my logic, and that's what I'm sticking to. Like if I used it now, enemies here in this phase of the wave are more likely to get through. Oh, I don't know if we're going to kill this guy. No, we'll take 3 life points instead. Cheaper towers is not bad. I really love spell energy, especially like kill 6 random enemies. That's just great. So now we kill, instead of killing 8, we kill 18. 10% fire rate for all towers is really good, especially because I have a frost tower. Ooh, 20% fire rate for frost towers. I think fire rate for all towers is way better though. Next tower is free. Random, ooh, legendary relic after 5 waves. I mean, this just makes this cheaper, so let's do that. I was going to build a workshop. I want the woodwork efficiency, because I want to make arrow towers cheaper. And then I want to reduce tower construction costs so I can build a lot of towers over the next few waves. We got a lightning tower and 2 arrow towers to add to our DPS. Let's explore. Oh, I can do an Althing Feast. I don't actually want to do an Althing Feast. I would rather save to buy a worker. We could buy one. We could actually buy one right now if we had the wood. So we'll do that next round. Let's go to the next wave. All right, there we go. We're churning, shredding. All right, 1, 2, 3, 18 random enemies were killed. Thinning out the herd. Yeah, a lot more are getting through than I would like. I definitely feel like I might need more DPS up here in the far reach of the maze. I don't like the cost reduction of tower upgrades per wave, so I'm going to go for the Path of Rarity. Let's do another legend. I'm brave like that. Let's build a house. Procreate. We want to build a brewery. Turn on beer brewing. Cheaper towers. Excellent. Also, advanced towers level up faster, which is great. Do I have full stone upgrades? I do. Let's switch into stone production now, because I definitely want more of these frost towers. I wish there was an easy way to tell how many ice towers I had. I wish I could just tell. I think I have 3 right now. I definitely want 2 more. 2 more would get me a buff to my... I definitely don't feel like there's a huge amount of decisions that goes into like where I place my towers. That's kind of like my current vibe on the game. Is like the actual individual positioning of towers. It's sort of, you take a broader stance, whereas like when I'm playing like Tower Dominion, I feel like the individual placement of each tower actually is really significant. Whereas here, I'm just like, I just put them on the high spots and then try to make a lot of, like just try to make a lot of towers in economy, you know? It doesn't feel like the most strategic thing ever. So yeah, we definitely need 1 more of these. All right, sick. Should clear these up nicely. Icy Death. I do like more Icy Death. I do plan to build more of those frost towers. We're going to hire a worker who we're going to put on stone production. I'm going to try and find some good spots like right here for frost towers. The Raven Tower's got range, dude. Fires once every 10 seconds at a range of 12. I'll put him on DPS. We'll auto level at 5. Just focus on whoever has the highest health in the range and focus until he's dead. Let's get another arrow tower. In particular, I would feel a little bit more secure with another arrow tower over here protecting. Let me go ahead and upgrade this too. I'm going to start spending a little bit of gold on my towers. 5. When the auto level threshold reaches 5, that's when I want to spend money. So you don't need penetration. Still, I'll give you DPS. That's what we care about for you. We've spent all of our money. We've spent all of our resources. We've assigned our guys. Did get elevated masonry. We definitely want advanced towers. Boom. Oh yeah. We just spent all of our gold upgrading our towers. Beautiful. So hopefully that's going to be worth it. All right, kill some random enemies. Did about 17,000 damage with that. I like you, sir. I like that you're just spinning damage. All right, we pretty much killed them all. Raven Tower did a little funny thing right there. Okay, a lot of gold was spent on upgrading towers, which is fine. We have the ability to get another Frost Tower. Do we have a good location? Here's a +1 range location right there. You're already on the Frosty. Let's get a Zappy. We'll start getting windy towers maybe soon. All right, so what's next on our agenda from our economy point of view? Probably hiring workers and building houses, but I still want to get one more Frost Tower in order to hit that level 5, so we get the 20 gold per wave. I think that's what we're going to go for. Here they come. All right, let's kill some random enemies. Thin the herd. That did about 18,000 damage, which isn't bad. Okay. Okay, they're getting pretty far into the maze, but they are, like, we have really good attrition. I think a few Raven Towers would really help with our attrition as well, actually, to kill off the big guys. Let's get advanced towers. That's going to mean that all towers now, just each level is a lot cheaper. You know, we could do the maths on that again. I don't remember what the first tower level is, but it's like 15. So if you have 15 and then the next level costs 20, right? And you just follow that for first level's free, second level costs 15. Doing the maths right now in the spreadsheet. So the max level's 20. So if we sum this, I'm doing some spreadsheeting off screen. This upgrade for the cost of 70, about 100 gold, actually will reduce the total cost of upgrading a tower to level 20. This one might not even be valid because it's one upgrade to, it's actually 19 upgrades. So you do 19 upgrades, so you're going to look at a difference between these two values. So over the course of like fully leveling a tower, that's going to save you 285. Not bad. 285. You get your tower levels 3 levels early. It's pretty damn good. I definitely wanted more Frost Towers. So now I have five Frost Towers. I would like to get some Tornado Towers. Tornado Towers are quite good early in the maze, so I might build like a bunch of them in a row. They do ignore armor, which is nice, so I'm just going to give them basic DPS levels. What do I want to use my wood on? I think I'm going to buy a house as soon as I can afford it. I think it's time to get more workers, so I'm going to start pumping food. I'm going to pump gold for 1 round first so I can get gold and fertility maxed out. We'll go to the next wave. Let's kill some random enemies. Slightly thin out the wave. But you can see the wind towers. They send a tornado back down the wave, which is pretty good AoE DPS. Alright, nice. So the enemies are walking through swirling death clouds. They're getting zapped and shot and eviscerated. Definitely could use a few more Raven Towers. Sprunkled throughout the maze to really just take out those high health guys. I think our attrition is great. Legendary banner. Your towers can no longer receive a level up for the next 4 waves. All towers receive 40% fire rate permanently. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Increases the damage of all shadow towers, increases the amount of projectiles. Damn. That's like a 30... That's over a 30% increase in damage for this tower. It's like a huge damage increase. I don't know what circulating means. Shoots at random enemies. I mean, doubling the rate of fire on this thing isn't terrible. So what if it like misses more? I think Insanity is just so good for making that tower better. Frost Magician, there's a chance to grant 1 energy. Ooh, once every 20 seconds. There's a 3% chance. Or we could just get more Cold Snap, which means enemies stay inside the range of the tower longer, stacking up more damage from the ice aura. 10% damage. This is just a 10% damage proof because I never sell my towers. Boom. Banner rerolls are not bad. And productivity from beer goes up. I'll take it. I spent a bit of gold in places I probably shouldn't have. It is what it is. Let's get farming. We'll do a Scandinavian style house. I'll put a couple of workers in there. We are brewing, right? Yeah, we're brewing. Ooh, maturation process. Hell yeah. Let's do an Althing feast. And then we definitely want to build this and dedicate it to Frost Towers. Hell yeah. All right, let's fire off the next wave. We definitely need to make our maze stronger in the next turn. It's probably a mistake to go for wheat. It's fine. I kind of regret not building more towers. But we did get a pretty big DPS boost. And we have a 25% damage buff for being on a boss wave. Plus we just got a 40% attack speed buff for towers, which is kind of crazy actually. Some of these swirling glaciers are awesome. Okay, we got an elite over here. That's nice. We're gonna get a chest off him. I'm surprised. It doesn't feel like I got a huge amount of elites this game. I don't know if I'm crazy. Uncommon banners. I'm gonna go for relics. Give me those relics. I definitely want stone. Stone is used for a lot of different towers. Stone is used for a lot of different towers. We could get like a raven tower. In fact, a raven tower right here. Yeah, that's a good one right there. It has like really good coverage. Unfortunately, I won't be able to level up, but we can use it. We can like chain raven towers together to constantly be shooting the strongest enemies. All right, let's get ourselves some workers. 3 new workers. Should I sacrifice one? I'm gonna sacrifice one. I need a little bit of power for this wave. So what do we got here? Crit chance for all towers? That's actually so good. Let's do it. I can't sacrifice another one for a few waves. I think sacrificing a worker isn't so bad. Just one worker. I'm trying to think of what we really need here. I think taking tax burden will just give us a bit of passive gold, stave construction. Maybe I should get the guild hall and the druid house up. Let's build an arrow tower right there and see what we can do. All right, hoping. We've got 2 workers we can assign. Let's make sure we get a little bit more wood. All right, let's explore it. Ooh, it's like strange swirlies. There's some interesting ruins here that we're going to want to explore. Killed off 18 enemies, got about 20,000 damage out of it. Should definitely focus until death. So now we're focusing on Ironbane the Ruthless. He's slowly getting chipped down. Enemies aren't making it too far. He should fall down. He has a lot of maze to walk through before he gets out of here. Yes, get him. So perk unlocked, Blessing expansion. I don't know what that is. We've got a legendary chest. Ooh, ooh, this is so good. Decreases enemy defense attributes. That's, man, all 3 of these are crazy. I'm kind of tempted to take the barbed arrows though because we don't have any bleed. And bleed is, that's a 5% slow and 7 stacks of bleed, which is 35 damage per arrow. I mean, this is crazy, don't get me wrong, but this with my arrow tower, like, just... Sacrifices offer a rare banner selection. Boost crit damage. Oh, this actually goes so crazy with that sword we just got. That's insane. All right, build a house, hire 3 workers. We've maxed out our worker assignments. Let's build the bank. We'll add a gold manager here. So now we have a bank that we can use whenever we have a market or whatever. Ooh, bless. A second type of power benefit in return the statue is reduced. Oh, well, I think we take this and we go for the arrow tower because that's the one we've leaned heavily into frost and arrow here. Don't know if I want to sacrifice. Sacrificing 1 worker is like pretty damn good. Extra yield from chests is good. More or less, I don't want gamblers. Gamblers isn't very good. Gamblers is better if you have less guys. Like, if you keep sacrificing, then gamblers starts becoming good. But basically, 180%. I think once you have more than 9 workers, gamblers becomes net even value rather than net positive. So it's good at low numbers of workers. We're brewing. Oh, what's this? Every purchase increases the chances of higher rarities. I think Ancient Bargains, we get more cheaper relics, plus a free relic, loyalty bonus, more rerolls for the Oracle, cheaper gold construction costs. I think we've more or less unlocked everything, and so now we can just think about, like, how do we make our maze stronger? I'll grab the Blessing of Wealth just because it might eventually repay itself. One of the ways we can make our maze a lot stronger is by expanding the number of towers. So it's good to have 1 guy working on the wheat. Might be good for us to lean into the shadow towers. So I'm going to do a distribution like this where we get the majority of our resources are stone and gold with a little bit of wheat. And I'm going to sprinkle some shadow towers throughout the maze to add weakness, which will increase the damage our enemies take. Now, you were just a DPS booster, yeah. So we'll just take DPS on you. Of course, we're not going to be able to level any towers for another 2 waves, but that's fine. We're also going to get... Did we get an elite relic? Oh, maybe we did. Maybe it was the Claws of Ferocity. I don't remember. We got something. All right, we're coming up against the strong enemies. We're in wave 20 beyond. I think it's really funny. Like, I'm doing a super long video for this one, but I feel like every time I do a short video, people are like, I wish your videos were longer. And every time I do a long video, I get a bunch of people saying, I wish your videos were shorter. And I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm just going to make the videos as long as I want. And if you watch them, you watch them. Oh, tornado towers give stone each wave with increased crit strike chance. That's actually pretty damn good. A 30% damage boost is very strong. I'm going to go for collapse. That's extra resource production. We're also going to go for this. I'm going to redistribute my tower selection a little bit. So what are these? What do these do? That's plus 20 damage. Is that 20% damage or plus 20 damage? This is 240% barrier damage. Well, now that's kind of cool. I definitely feel like I should have some of these shadow guys near every frost tower. With the idea is that they increase the amount of damage they take from these swirling doom clouds. I also want my line of tornado towers here. I just think it's really funny to have like a line of them going, and then I'll just add a couple of wood towers along. We can see these windy boys pushing through, damaging everyone. All right, let's hit them with the random kills, thinning the wave. We've got some sort of elite all the way back here. The Raven Blasters. Once we finish this wave, we're going to be adjusting how much gold we invest into our towers to level them up. A little bit worried about this guy. He has some armor. I don't know if these guys have reached the level where they'll start ignoring it. No, they don't. They're only like level 5. But yeah, I'm probably going to start cranking gold into my towers rather than making more. I think upgrading this again. Ooh. I think killing another 2 extra enemies is great. Plus extra spell energy. I like that one a lot. Then more fire rate for all towers. This would be technically better, but this helps us avoid overkill because the tower refires slightly faster. Technically worse DPS, but the refire has its own value. Ooh, extra weakness effect. I'm going to go for the extra weakness effect. That's going to make... I just built a bunch of weakness towers, so that's great. The first tower upgrade of each tower that costs at least 5 gold is reduced by 5 gold. That's 5 gold per tower. Stacks 25 stone at the start of each economy phase, resets to 0 when a tower is built. That's just 25 gold, or 25 stone rather. DPS used for all towers. Let's take all of our people. Now that our towers can level, I'm going to start pumping gold into them. I'm going to put these guys up to 10. Apply to all. 10. Apply to all. 15. Apply to all. 10. Apply to all. Even my Raven towers are going to get the extra gold. I'm going to add an extra 5 to my Frosty boys. Maybe another 5. Maybe another 5 because I want these guys leveled. There we go. Now the frost towers are leveling fast. Put one right there and it'll use up all the gold to get leveled. We're swirling them. They're getting hit with the swirlies. Love to see this. Let's kill some random enemies. We can kill 24 random enemies every single wave, which is amazing. In theory, we could get a little bit more if we can get some mana back from our frost towers. Ooh, less resources. Oh, that's really good if we want to build frost towers. The next trade immediately, I'm going to go for the Master Builder's Hammer. We don't need to claim the Guildhall gold. I think we're good. We'll hold on to the gold here. I'm going to spend all my money on leveling my frost towers. I want them to be really high level. The swirling death of frost. I will do an alting feast. Allows me to convert food into productivity. Oh man, there's lots of splits going on here. I can't wait to get more frost towers along the whole length of the maze. Very nice, very nice. They're not even making it past the first swirling, the first swirling frost tower. Okay, now they're starting to make it past, like, but they weren't up until a point. All right, this guy's pretty tanky, but we do have a lot of DPS. Let's see here. Construction costs are reduced, but the tower, I don't like the tower upgrades per wave is no longer applied. I'm going to go for the branch lucky shot. This is a significant increase in the DPS of my archer towers. Let's grab stone because that's what I need for frost towers. I'll grab wood as well. This is a boss wave, so I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to invest into my archery towers a little bit. I think I could build 2 frost novas. One, that's a +4 right there. That's crazy. That's another +4 right there. The overlapping frost obliteration. Did 100k damage just by killing 24 random enemies. Yeah, look at that, 1000 DPS. Really softened up all these enemies that are zooming in. Now we do have to deal with Thunderclash the Relentless. And our single target DPS isn't the greatest, means regenerating 100 health per second. Although 100 health per second regeneration isn't like the craziest in the world. Look at that damage from this thing. So good. Boom. Give me that legendary banner. Yes! +5 wood production. No, I need the wood production. Alright, what else do you got for me? For each banner of a Raven Town. Oh. This would be cool, but... Tornadoes briefly stun an enemy on impact. This is bad because I haven't laid out my Tempest Towers in a way that actually benefits from this. I don't have any Raven Tower stuff. So chain crits are better. Plus 50% damage for your most built tower at the time of this relic. So that's going to be arrow towers. That's actually really good. Do I just continue? I need so much gold. I need a little bit of food. Well, maybe it'd be worth it to sacrifice another worker. Another 10% loss isn't that big. Let's sacrifice just one more worker. One more little sacrifice. That's all it is. It's a little sacrifice. Ooh, bleeds for longer now. That's like a 60% increase in bleed damage. I'm just laying down towers randomly over here. Hoping that this is like gonna redeem my insane build. Alright, let's explore. Alright, we found an enemy. Oh, what the hell is that thing? A skeleton general. He spawns minions every 10 seconds. His health regen, and he's a sprinter. Oh my god, we need to thin the horde. This guy's gonna be a problem. Thankfully, we have a lot of health. Oh, I don't like that he's spawning. That's gross. Now, I do like that he's taking huge bleed damage. But I need him to take a lot more bleed. His health is not going down nearly fast enough, which tells me I need a lot more arrow towers in this area. Bleeding enemies have their healing reduced to 50%. Oh, that's so good. Yes. Give me wood. So I got another flame tower, another arrow tower. We're going to keep exploring. Found another maze thingy. We need to trim the ankles of these skeleton generals. The best way to do that is with bleed towers, I feel. We have the swirling death balls, which does the work. But we need his health to be going down a little bit faster. Come on now. Oh, I don't like that these guys are getting really far into the maze. Ooh, I don't like this. Come on, get his health down. Alright, there we go. Perfect. Raven towers now shoot twice, but it reduced damage. Each kill from it inflict the victim trait. That's not bad. I'm gonna banish the twin feathers. And I'm gonna re-roll. Rapid Archer is really good. On impact, this gives it a little bit more AoE. I'm going to go for the Rapid Archer. Because part of our strategy now is to start putting a lot of bleed on big enemies. In particular, around this area. 150. Do we want to keep making those arrow towers? I think so. Let's explore. You need to open the chest before continuing. Oops. More wood. Explore. Okay, another hut. Kill some random enemies. Whoa, that was a fast boy. I love the swirling death of the ice boys. There's a lot of healing going on here. They pretty much all just healed back up by the time they made it to this new section of the maze. Which of course is the opposite of what we want. Don't let them through. Don't let them through. Do not let them through. Whew. Ooh, if the life points of your village shields are below 50%, you get +2 energy. That's actually crazy. I might claim this gold to get this damage to slowed enemies. To get extra damage on them. I get all these. Let's grab a legendary banner. Put my workers on gold again. Maybe it's good if I put focus until death on my arrow towers. Part of our problem is we're not getting kills. I also just added a lot of arrow towers to the final section of the maze, hopefully increasing the DPS density. I'm hoping that focus until death does like good work. Alright, let's kill some random enemies. Like, part of the problem is we weren't finishing anyone off. So now my arrow towers find the enemy with the highest health and try to kill him from full health. Still not ideal against enemies that heal, but does an okay job. Now, the enemies didn't get as far as they did last time, and most of the towers we built were up over here. So that one change seems to have made a difference due to all the regeneration. We'll take a little bit of damage here. Ooh. Production of outposts. I don't know what outposts are. What are outposts? Ooh, tower upgrade prices. Oh. I have to build a supply depot. I see. So one of the problems with my maze is there's not a lot of damage along this lane, but what I really think I need is just like a concentrated damage zone to actually get kills. What's this? A supply depot. Can I buy that? Hold on. Sell wheat. Don't, damn it. I need more gold. I've got a gold problem. Also need to build the druid house. Yeah, let's get wood. Let's hope we survive this. This is a boss wave. It's kind of scary, actually. All right, let's go. I'm going to save this for later on in the maze. Oh, Dark Whisperer, the Veiled Master. Now, he does regenerate, but we do have the ability to bleed that off him. Okay, I'm soon going to activate this to shred the enemy forces. 3, 2, 1, All right, here we go. Massive de-escalation. We got so many kills just now. We're thinning. Okay, then we just have to kill this guy. Boom. Oh! End the run and go to your game statistics. Or we can enter an endless run. Only suitable for experienced players who want to build through their paces or climb to the top of the leaderboard. Let's do a little endless. I would like to banish this. Increase the tornado damage for missing HP. Reroll. Here we go. Timberwind mark. A little bit more wood. Let's go. Let's do it. Opening blitz. Lucky shot. That's a lot of damage. So much fire rate. 63% fire rate. Oh, Skyfall arrows. Yes. Give it. Hexfield skill 10% damage per height level. Oh, that's so good. All right, let's get the supply depot. I've never had this before. So this just reduces the cost of these. Use the surrounding trees to make wood. Ah, I've never done that before. Oh, they all cost wood. If an outpost stands on a tile where no enemies pass during the defense phase, it grants +2 gold at the end of a wave. Oh, that's kind of cool. Let's just make outposts cheaper. A little meta progression here. Let's get the Druid's Hut. Heal 5 life points. Oh. So we can regenerate 1 health per wave as well. Very cool. All right, nice. So now we have outposts. So like, oh, hello. So this is worth 10. 10 stone per round. This is worth 14. Oh. Okay, that's super interesting, actually. And the cost of every outpost goes up when I build this. Well, then it probably kind of makes sense to go for wood, right? Like, oh, look at this. Here's a +8 wood. Boom. Here's a +7 wood. Well, that's kind of cool. I like that. I like it. So that's tower damage. Oh, the general collector collects everything. Oh, I'm intrigued by that one. Let's send the next wave. I'll fire off my shadow roulette in a moment. Right now I'm just saving. All right, now's the time to do it. 260k damage, not bad. Very cool. Oh, they're kind of getting through up here. Not really. So if we get a general collector, oh, 15. Damn, that's crazy good. I think I like the general collectors. Now the nice thing about tornado towers is they also produce stone for us. So there is something to be said for just throwing them down if we can afford it. Same for the arrow towers. Like, the more arrow towers we get down, the more wood we produce. So we're just going for that economic, infinite economic scaling. I will get more health for my base, thank you. I think though, I don't really care that much about endless modes in these games. I really like trying to beat the waves. I mean, it's kind of fun to do multiple runs, but I really just wanted to highlight this game because it's a really cool, fun game that I want to show you, like, me, you know, it's an extensive, long playthrough. And this is one of those games that I ran into that I really actually quite like. I think it has a lot of really cool sauce going on. I'm excited to see what kind of updates they do. Hold on, let me just blast this wave with some death here. There's 360 damage from that. I do believe enemies are going to start getting through because they have a 2% resistance to all damage. A little spooky. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Okay, we took a little damage there, not too bad. Oh, we're dead. Okay, so we didn't make it that far beyond like the regular thing, but we did get the hero tower. I'll take that. We unlocked the supply depot, the universe. There's so much to unlock. I think it's really nice when a game has, like, I think now I've put 8 hours in, and like the whole time during this 8 hours, I've been unlocking interesting interesting new gameplay mechanics, right? So if I play again, we come back in. Like, it's one of those games where you could just have another run. Oh shit, I lose a life point per wave. That means I'm going to need that druid hut early. You know, and I think the game has a lot of really cool stuff going on. The other thing is, what's the university? So this is the hero tower. Arcane accumulation. Every 10th spell, receive 2%. Oh, okay. Power growth increases spell energy. Oh, that would have been so good. Dude. Now, what's the university? Maybe that was an upgrade to something else. Okay, I didn't see what the university is. Let's go back to the main menu here because I want to just check something really quick before we finish up. So this is Ascension mode. Adds additional challenges with each ascension. That looks kind of cool. What does that do? Bosses trigger effect executed when they spawn. Okay, so this is like you get more stuff, I guess. Next 3 outposts are cheaper. That's kind of cool. There's also an endless mode that I want to quickly show you. If you go to the endless, this is the meta mode. There is a whole meta progression going on here. So like here, increases the wood production by 10 per wave. This is the arrow tower. And this is where you can spend your honor on upgrades for your towers. I do think that a lot of these are kind of boring. As it currently stands, like 1 stack of bleed. Okay, that's kind of cool. I'll take that. And then, oh, another stack of bleed. Oh, another stack of bleed. Cool. Like, that's kind of cool, but I feel like there's not enough of these kind of bigger chunks that make more, like, interesting things happen. It's a lot of small nodes. And also, this feels placeholdery is my current vibe. Like, why is this a plus? Why isn't it a bleed symbol? I feel like in terms of the endless mode side of things, if they put a little bit more work into this side of things, it would be very interesting and fun to play through and like max out this tree. Also, I think a lot of these kind of like perk trees, I think they need to give you exclusive choices. I think limitations are the way that a player can be creative. And if you don't give a player limitations, it's just basically, you've just created a grind, basically. Like, let's be real. So it's very, very important to limit a player, in my opinion. So make sure to apply limitations to your players. Like maybe these 2 trees are exclusive. You can either get the bleed or the extra arrow chance, but they both lead to the same node location. And then, you know, something else happens there. And then coming back up through here is maybe this is also a so I think adding branches and stuff like that, I think it's a cool idea and it's kind of neat. And I do love this kind of thing. But I'd like to see just a little bit more. Like, what if this is +1 damage, +1% damage and fire rate? You know, that'd be kind of exciting. So, yeah, I think cool game. Lots going on. This, you know, you start your meta progression mode, you level up, you get your honor, and you spend it in your tree, then you do another run. It's a lot of fun. You know, you get honor based on the amount of enemies you kill. Oh, what is this? Oh, yeah. So you can spend honor in here to like, oh, dude, I want that extra shot, 1%. I do love the arrow tower build because they give you wood, and you know, usually the only person who gives me wood is your mom. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!